diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestvanecarehuntsville.com.
The Beach Boys, live in concert. October 4th at VBC Mark C. Smith Concert Hall. The Beach Boys return to the stage. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss the Beach Boys live.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
You chill out when you're supposed to chill out. You work when you're supposed to work. You don't chill out when you're supposed to be working.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
Can you get me a little typeset?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. So glad that you have joined us today. Today's list is about some historical stuff that took place Sunday in the NFL with Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Khalil Mack, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, maybe some others in there. Freaking Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, what a story Brock Purdy is. I mean, the 49ers have won 14 straight regular season games. And who knows how that NFC Championship game turns out last year if he was able to play in Philadelphia. And how about Houston, right? They took C.J. Stroud, who is lighting it up right now. That's 4 games in. I get it. 4 games. But he is lighting it up right now. And then they used the Browns' first-round pick from this past year to move up to get Will Anderson, who's also playing very well. And they still have the Browns' number 1 picks each of the next 2 years to make more moves with. I mean, it's nuts. In the meantime, the guy they traded to Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, missed a huge game with the Ravens, even though he was medically cleared to play, and he begged off the game. He begged off. No, this is a true story. I mean, this comes from the head coach, Kevin Stefanski. Typically, the head coach will offer cover for a player in that situation. You know, we got a bye coming up, and, you know, we thought maybe we give an extra week to get prepared. It's a long season. We want to make sure he's 100%. No, Stefanski didn't say any of that yesterday. What he said was he was cleared to play, and he chose not to play. Didn't feel like he was ready. Oh, that's not a good look. That's just not a good look. All right, coming up on the show today, Dimitri Ravanos from Barrett Sports Media, who wrote a column stating that he thinks Nick Saban is closer to the ESPN Game Day set than anyone may imagine. Now, Ravanos is an Alabama grad, and he's a huge Saban fan. But he's reading the tea leaves, and he thinks this may be it for Saban. Now, back in July, Paul Feinbaum came on this show and said that he thought Saban would call it a career for sure if Alabama won the Natty this year. Well, right now, they are still on a list of teams that could do that, but they're not at the top of that list. In fact, they're currently the 10th favorite in Vegas to win it all. You can get Alabama to win a national championship at plus 2,000 right now. They were plus 350 at the beginning of the year. It's plus 2,000 right now as a 4-1 team. A $10 bill will pay you $200. A C note returns $2,000 if Alabama were to win a national championship. And the Tide have always been the darlings of Vegas. You know what? That's another top 10 list I'm going to have to share with you. I'll have to share that one with you. Now, before we get to Dimitri, Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer is back as Auburn hits the bye week at 3-2. Or if you're looking at AL.com, they're 2-3. Or if you're looking at College Press Box, which is like the Bible for broadcasters on everybody, they're 4-1, having beaten Texas A&M 27-10. That's what it says at College Press Box. Why is it that nobody knows what Auburn's record is? Let me tell you what Auburn's record is. They're 3-2, which is pretty much what was expected 5 games in. So now the question becomes, are there 3 more wins out there to get bowl eligible? Now, Vandy, and New Mexico State, they seem like locks. So that's 5. That's 5. At LSU, at Arkansas, and the Iron Bowl seem like a tall task. So as we thought this summer, it probably comes down to splitting the Mississippi schools. And they get both of them at home. Ole Miss and Mississippi State in back-to-back weeks. And you would think that the better shot comes against State. But you know that Ole Miss game is going to be emotionally charged. You got Lane Kiffin, who spurned the Tigers, passed on the Tigers' job. Although they said they didn't offer to him, but he passed on the job. And it's the first time Hugh Freeze sees the Rebs across the field. Now, only time will tell if Hugh Freeze was the better option for Auburn. We'll get into all of that with Justin Ferguson. Your phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. I understand that looking at my call screen that Wolverine Dan is on call already. On hold already. I wonder what he's got. I wonder what Wolverine Dan's bringing us today, because he gave us the Lions and Michigan yesterday. So has he got anything new to add today? You think he's just repeating yesterday's call? Grizz, can we get yesterday's call up? We just played that. I wonder if it's yesterday's call or today's call. Maybe he's got some new stuff today. We'll find out from my boy Wolverine Dan here in a minute. He's probably trying to jump on Alabama right now, plus 2,000 to win it all. 256-576-4977. You could text the show, 7329-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are also on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. There is a link there to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. You can get notifications. You can watch the show on YouTube. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, you see that I am wearing a very smooth Nike Buckhorn coach's pullover. Very nice. Let me tell you something about Matt Patterson. He takes care of his boy, man. I'm just saying. He takes care of his boy. This is sweet. This is the same one you see the major colleges wearing, the NFL guys wearing. A lot of the guys, they unzip this and they leave the hood out. I think that looks sloppy. I like it with the hood in. But it's very nice. You got to watch on WZZN TV, or you could probably check it out on the X. As soon as Grizz posts something on the X, it'll be there. Grizz, when you do that, throw a little at Buckhorn football so they could see I'm representing today. They got a big game coming up, region game coming up on Friday night against Mae Jemison. Speaking of which, you need to have the app. Just search the 97.7 ESPN The Zone from your app store and get the app. And once you got the app, then you get links to Zone 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. You can check our calendar out, our broadcast calendar at 977ESPN.com, because it's another busy week this week. First of all, we have tonight and tomorrow night, we've got the Phillies and the Marlins in the wild card series to see who's going to play the Braves. So we've got that going on for it. Oh, the Dow Jones is down 341 points today. Gosh, I don't even want to look at my stuff. Just not even going to look at that. Why does it keep going down? Stop going down already. And then on Thursday night, we have got the game of the week, Huntsville and Albertville from Milton Frank Stadium on Zone 5. Steve Moulton and Scott Tyson on the call there. It's a good chance for Scott to get out of the scoreboard studio. On Friday, 4 games beginning with Buckhorn at Mae Jemison from Joe Davis Stadium. John McGough and I are on that one. You'll hear that over the air and on our primary feed. Madison Academy is at Asbury on Zone 2 with Steve and Glenn Laird there. On 3, it's Randolph hosting Madison County with Bailey Lowry and Drew Arman on that game. And on Zone 4, a huge 7A game between unbeaten Sparkman, and they're facing their biggest test of the year so far as they travel to Madison City Stadium to take on 4-2 James Clemens, who is also unbeaten in the region. They are tied in the region, in the 7A region. All right, over there in that little glass booth with the slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, manning the phones, keeping us on the air, the one and the only, the DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today. What's that? Testosterone, whatever the f it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Grizz, I was in a great mood. My mood changed when I saw that the stock market's down 350 points today. Do you have much in the stock market? Do you have anything in the stock market?
Not really too much. I mean, I don't really. I think I've had a little bit of money in the Brave stock. I think that's doing all right now.
Yeah, you are a Brave stockholder.
A couple other things, but other than that, no, I don't fancy myself in it too much.
Is friggin' Ethereum ever going to come back?
I don't think so.
I mean, come on, man. The projections keep saying it's going to go up, but when is it going to start moving in the right direction?
And I think I just had,
and
I think I just had one where just like I bought something like that a long time ago, and I just kind of like held on to it for a long time.
Well, if you bought a coin of Ethereum a long time ago at $40, and today it's at $1,653, you're doing well. But it's been as high as $4,500. It's $1,600 now. But
what it was like, I think it was like one of them was it started out at like $50. And it went down to like $16 or something like that.
Yeah, but now it's probably depending on what it is, which one it is, the two biggies. But, I was in a good mood, but now I'm not. I'm getting my head kicked in. Holy.
Well, I'm in a good mood because I beat my cousin Vinny in fantasy, so it was a big weekend for me. So that was the only fantasy win I think I got all weekend.
I almost made it all the way back. I just came up. DK Metcalf came up 60 points short for me last night. As the Seahawks just kicked the Giants' heads in. I mean, I needed 75 points out of him. You know what I mean? I needed 75 points. He got me like 15. So I can't hold him totally responsible for not getting 75 points, though. You know, that would have been a record, maybe. That would have been a big day.
And like you said yesterday, it was not a pleasing
game. I dropped 177 on me. I mean, come on. Don't be scoring 177 against me, Bama Bill.
Bill has, like, if not the best team in fantasy right now, because him and Bill and my cousin Vinny had the best 2 teams. I happened to beat my cousin Vinny, who was 3-0.
Yeah.
But his team's just not putting up a lot of points. So
well, I had the best team, and then Nick Chubb got hurt.
Yeah.
So now that Nick Chubb is hurt, I would have gotten my 77 points out of Nick Chubb. But now that he's hurt, my team kind of sucks. Although I did all right with my running backs. It's just, I mean, look, I dropped 177 on me. You know what? I'd rather get beat by 60 than get beat by like, if I had scored 160 and got beat by 17, that would annoy me a lot. Because you beat everybody with 160, except for the one guy who scores 177 points.
That's like the problem I have right now. I have a plethora of running backs. I have Kenneth Walker, Travis Etienne. I've got Tony Pollard. I've got Brian Robinson, Isaiah Pacheco. So I've got a bunch of
middling running backs.
Yeah,
I
mean, Pacheco will catch it out of the backfield. Brian Robinson can have some big days. I mean, it's just Tony Pollard's like one of the best running backs to have out of the backfield too. Other than that, it's not Christian McCaffrey. So.
What an absolute mess the New York Football Giants are.
Their offensive line is awful, and I feel bad for Daniel Jones, to be honest with you.
Daniel Jones, Brian Daboll. You know, Brian Daboll was the coach of the year last year.
Threw the little tablet at him like in one little exchange.
He's making $40 million a year,
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones gets $40 million a year. Brian Daboll was the coach of the year, and they've scored 3 points at home in their first 2 games. And if they didn't have that miracle comeback against the Cardinals, they're an 0-4 football team right now. And it gets worse for them. The next few games, if you look at the Giants' schedule, the next few games, they're in a heap of trouble. Saquon Barkley's been out.
Yeah.
I mean, they are an absolute mess. And you know who Giant fans are? Our good friend David Moulton, big Giants fan. He was at the game last night with the Monday Night Football crew standing side by each with Troy Aikman, who apparently is not going to come on the show, although maybe he will, maybe he won't. He doesn't do very many radio shows, but
we might get Joe Buck as a second.
We've reached out to him, and Damon Amendola, huge Big Blue fan.
Yeah.
Who's got his new gig now. He left CBS Sports Radio, the morning show. He's now the
congratulations
morning
to
show
him,
guy at Sirius XM Radio.
With Mad Dog.
With Mad Dog,
yeah.
He's got a job. I was offered that job in 2008, the morning show that they have had.
He knew about it.
So many different morning shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damon, he asked me about it. What do you think? What do you think about Chris? I mean, what do you think about Tori and those guys there? And I gave him a ringing endorsement. I mean, I told him why I didn't take it. They wanted me to go to New York, and I wasn't going to raise my kids in New York City. And the money you have to make in New York City to equal the money you would make down here is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely out of control. But Damon's already living up there, and he has a home. He lives in Connecticut and everything, and they're going to let him do. But then, because I remember saying to those guys, just let me stay. In time I was in Nashville, let me stay down here. I'll do it from down here. No, you got to come up here. I said, why? What are you doing, remotes? You're not doing remotes. You're satellite radio. What about the college football people? I mean, all you do is talk Chris baseball. I said, there's a world west of the Hudson River. And Chris has been like chiding Damon because Damon's a big college football fan. And so Chris on his show on Friday was like, I guess we're going to have to be listening to Damon talking to the head coach at New Mexico State or something. What's he going to do when he's going to get the Texas El Paso coach on, and that's what we'll be, dang. I know he's just doing it for show purposes, but still. But I wish Damon the best of luck with that gig. I fully endorsed it for him, and I put in a good word for him, and I know he'll do great. I was just not going to move to New York City and raise my kids up there. It was ridiculous.
That seems rough.
There was I had my wife looking at housing. So she found a 2,400 square foot colonial house in Rye, New York, a half an hour from Manhattan, right? And it was 2,400 square feet, 4-bedroom house, just a stick-built, crap house in a subdivision, right? In a cul-de-sac. $6,600 a month to rent.
Oof.
To rent. I said, well,
sounds like Southeast Huntsville going on right now.
Oh. I don't think there's anything you could pay $6,600 a month for. You could get 3 houses here for $6,600. So then I said to her, well, just check Manhattan. I mean, just see what an apartment in Manhattan, because it'll be right near 30 Rock where the studios are.
Yeah.
She checked out Manhattan. She found it was a 950 square foot apartment, 3-bedroom apartment. Remember, I had all those kids. 3-bedroom apartment, 900 and some odd square feet, not too far from Central Park. $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month.
Wow.
I'm like, you're out of your mind. I mean, it is absolutely crazy up there. I mean, it was nuts, and it sounded so attractive when they made me the first offer. I was like, dang, that's real money. And then I was like, no, it's not. Not when you add in New York City tax, New York State tax, having to live up there, having to pay for driving through the tunnel every day. No, it's not. I mean, it was ridiculous. So, anyway, what do you think Wolverine Dan wants? He's got anything new today?
No, it's probably all the same old.
All right, we'll see. Wolverine Dan, what's going on?
That's why I moved down here, too. The taxes are too high.
Oh,
and people are nasty.
Ridiculous. People are nasty. Taxes are high. It's crazy.
Well, yeah. What do we now? So you're saying, okay, what's Wolverine Dan calling for, right? Well, I'm going to try to make it a daily thing. I got to work on my technique, okay? It's very important. I got to be a better caller because there might be something down the pipe. I'm not going to go any further, but I need to work on it.
Yeah.
Okay? So, in saying that, let's talk about my Detroit Lions. Yes, well, of course, you know it's going to be Michigan stuff. All right, so let's talk. I looked at the schedule of the rest of the year, okay? We could easily have 13 wins. Let me explain why. All right, so let's start off with this weekend. Okay, Jamison Williams, first off, is coming back. It's a dual threat. You got St. Brown, Williams, and I need to remember this guy's name, but the tight end from Iowa, stud. Okay, and don't forget Bibbs.
All right, forget all of that. You're playing the Carolina Panthers, who are the worst team in the league. You're going to win the game.
Okay.
You're going to win the game. All right, so you're going to win that game. Then you go to Tampa Bay. You got a good shot at Tampa Bay, although Tampa Bay's not bad. You got a good shot there. The next game you're going to be pushed at is maybe the Ravens game. You know, at the Ravens is a tough one.
Okay, so then let me take it from there. The Raiders are 1-3.
No, you'll beat the Raiders. That's at home.
Bears are 0-4. Packers are 2-2. We beat them at their place already, and we're going to get them in on Thanksgiving. We got that one. Saints, they're 2-2. Bears are right now still 0-4-4.
Yeah.
We play the Broncos 1-3. Vikings are 1-3.
Yeah.
Then we play the Cowboys, which is going to be tough.
At the Cowboys.
Their place the 30th. And then we got the Vikings to be announced the date they're going to play. But they're 1-3. So, Tom, very well, probably by maybe possibly a little bit further than half the season, I could win this division and cash in my money.
You could, and you could lose to the Ravens. You could lose to the Chargers. You could lose to the Packers. I know you think it's an automatic. It's not an automatic. The game at New Orleans is always freaky, and the Cowboys game will be tough, and you might split with the Vikings. So you could also lose six games. You shouldn't lose 6 games. But what you're saying is when you look at this schedule, Carolina, Tampa Bay, the Vegas Raiders, Chicago, what you're saying is basically is that the Lions have a schedule like the Wolverines. Crap. That's what you're saying. They got like 2 or 3 games they got to win, and that's it. They got an easy schedule. I know you're right. You're right. They got a very easy schedule.
You had to go there.
Well, I mean, facts are stubborn things.
Older brother. Don't you want your older brother to do well and get my cash?
Yeah, I want you to get your cash. I don't think you're going to the Super Bowl. Not with that San Francisco team. That San Francisco team is really good.
Well, I understand. I agree with you there. Okay, and I'm really happy that Purdy stepped up and they got a good quarterback. I love to see stories like that because I don't think he was a high draft choice, or was he?
He was the last pick in the draft. He's the Mr. Irrelevant, the very last pick in the draft.
And if I get beat by somebody like that, well, that's okay because you know what? That's a great story.
That's Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly. So bottom line is this: I'm looking at this and I'm liking where I'm at right now. And it's been a long time since I've felt this way about the Lions. Okay, so if I call it and bring up stats and mention about how well I think we're doing, you got to give me a little slack because I haven't been in the situation probably since Wayne Fonts, maybe.
I think that you will be favored in every game you got left except for 3. I think Baltimore will be a little favorite. I think the Chargers might be a slight favorite, and I think the Cowboys will be a favorite. You'll be favored in all the rest of the games.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all good, Tom. And actually, you took more of that phone call than I did, so I really didn't get a chance to practice on my delivery. But There's other phone calls and there's other days.
What are you coming after my job? Is that what you're telling me?
In life, all right, brother.
You coming after my job? Is that what you're saying, basically? Or what?
No, sir. I don't want your job, sir.
Okay.
Nobody does it just like the intro. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham, man.
I appreciate that.
I've tried to outbox the king of the hill. There ain't no way in heck. You are the king. I just want a little piece of the pie.
A little piece of the action. Yeah. All right.
It's always going to be part of the action, okay? With that said, go Blue, go Lions.
All right, appreciate you. It's a good job by Wolverine Down. He's working on his game. See, he did something different. What he did was he said, okay, looking at the rest of the Lions' schedule, they look like they're a 13-4, 14-3 type of football team. See, at least he took a different take on it. He didn't say the same thing that he said yesterday. It's a different take. Let's get a break. When we come back, Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer. He's next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit northalabamamortgage.com for more information.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area. A heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. The segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment. At Valley Equipment, they got two locations for you, both at the North Parkway and at the South Parkway. Their original location's on the South Parkway. The new location is on the North Parkway, and that place is huge. That's where you'll find the bigger excavators. They got more room, for the dozers and things like that. But in both locations, they've got all the equipment you need to get the job done like a pro, or if you are a pro, to get the job done as well, as efficiently as possible. You need to think about long-term rentals as well. And don't forget that Valley Equipment will deliver all over the market for you as well. And if you have your own trailer, they'll just take a quick examination of it, make sure it's safe, and go ahead and load you up with your equipment, and off you go at Valley Equipment Rental. They just do it all there, and Ross Roberts and his team, they're all local guys, so they're locally owned and they're local guys, so you're going to like that with Ross Roberts and those guys there. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer. Ferg, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. So we hit the bye week for Auburn, and they are 3-2, unless, of course, you look at AL.com, which says that they're 2-3, or if you go to the College Press Box site, which says that they're 4-1, and that they beat Texas A&M 27-10. And College Press Box is usually a pretty reliable site. Why is it so difficult for anybody to get Auburn's record right? I do believe they're 3-2.
Yeah, they're 3-2. I can't speak for anybody else, but I've been at all 5 games. I can tell you the 3 that they've won. Yeah. I can tell you the 2 that they've lost.
Yeah. So so at the Auburn Observer, they're 3-2. Is it would be the deal. Pretty sporty effort against Georgia. I mean, some of this might be on Georgia as they seem to be just off a tick. But we talked about that Auburn defense last week. They played great defensively, and amazingly, for the 6th straight time against the P5, they throw for less than 100 yards. But they were, they hung in there, the whole night.
Yeah, they did. They had a 4-quarter game against Georgia, which is the first one they've had in a while. You got to go back to 2017. I mean, even that close loss in 2019 that Auburn had to Georgia, keep in mind, Auburn was down 21-0 heading into the 4th quarter of that game and rallied late. This is the first time in several years Auburn has swung with Georgia, and the fact that Georgia's back-to-back national champions, I mean, that's that's significant. It showed progress, and I think Hugh Freeze said it best yesterday. When he's talking to some reporters in Mobile, he said there are no moral victories in the SEC, but
right.
You still got to be proud of the way this team fought and took steps forward. The funny thing is they only lost by a touchdown to Georgia. I don't think they played particularly well. There's some key issues and fixable things that they could have tightened up on and maybe had a better shot at winning this game. But no, I mean, I think fourth quarter especially, Georgia just showed, hey, we've got more talent than you. And Bright Bowers was excellent, and obviously going up against the Auburn secondary that was banged up. And got to give it up for Carson Beck. In a year where there's not a whole lot of a great quarterback playing in the SEC, I was really, really impressed with Carson Beck, and there's a huge reason why they won that game.
I was trying to figure out all week long how that Georgia was only a 14 and a half point favorite in that game, and one of our handicappers came out on Thursday, very highly respected handicapper that crunches numbers, and he said, I've run this game 10,000 times, and the average margin of victory for Georgia is 8 points. And sure enough, it ends up being a 7-point game. So there was something buried in the numbers that was telling him something about this game, and so it turns out that way. Now, do you think that Hugh Freeze, who kind of downplayed the rivalry going into the game, do you think he has a little better appreciation for how big a game this is in the South?
Oh, absolutely. I do, and I think the crowd, I'll say this, the crowd for the UMass and Stanford games to start the year for Auburn were really good. It's just a different level, in a game like this, and I think the crowd really helped keep them in it all the way through. And it was such a huge weekend for Auburn, and to get a lot of people out there and kind of showing, hey, this is what this means to them. It was a pretty good big moment. And again, like I said, it says something that this is the first time in a while Auburn just hung with Georgia. There have been better Auburn teams, more talented Auburn teams in the last several years that have just gotten the doors blown off of them by Georgia. Not this case, not this time. And I think that just kind of speaks to where the program is heading. And if they can capitalize on some things they can, fix here in the rest of the 2023 season, they can be set up pretty well, because there were a lot of recruits at that game, a ton of recruits at that game. And they got to stay for a 4-quarter competitive battle all the way to the end, which is, if you're not going to win, that's about as close as you can get to, a win on the recruiting, front for a visit weekend is, have the crowd be in it for all 4 quarters.
Justin Ferguson with us, Auburn Observer, and kind things said about that atmosphere by Kirby Smart. I thought that was pretty classy for Smart to recognize that, and if I am Hugh Freeze or the recruiting coordinator for Auburn, I'm making sure I got those comments and putting that on a loop too for all the recruits to hear what Kirby Smart, who's running college football right now, what he had to say about the atmosphere at Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said Auburn is not a big stadium compared to it's not the biggest. It's not 100,000 seats or anything like that. But when it's set at its peak, it can get as loud as pretty much anybody in the country, and I think that was pretty evident in this game. And I thought Auburn, took advantage of that as best as they could.
All right, so they get the bye week to prepare for LSU, and that'll be an interesting matchup in as much as that LSU is playing horrific defense right now. Auburn is playing great defense, but Auburn has no offense to speak of. I mean, if there's a defense that you're liable to maybe get something going a little bit, it might be in the next couple of weeks, because you're facing two teams that just, combined to give up over 1,100 yards of offense in their game against each other with LSU and Ole Miss. Now, their offenses are both very prolific, but still the defenses obviously have issues. So, maybe an opportunity to try and get a little bit healthy and do something offensively when they get to the Bayou and then when they come home against Ole Miss.
I think the good news for Auburn on offense is that they are running the ball pretty well. This is a game against Georgia. This is the most rushing yards Georgia's given up in a game in 4 years. And Georgia doesn't have a Jordan Davis or a Jalen Carter type down the middle of that defensive line this year, but it was still a pretty salty run defense. And the fact that Auburn was able to kind of get that movement there, used Peyton Thorne, used Robbie Ashford at times running the ball as well, I thought was good. They just got to find something in the passing game. Thought Peyton Thorne looked better. Georgia, obviously, they need against Texas A&M. Auburn could have had some plays, didn't have as many bad misses. I think there were just some, mistakes that he had. Some receivers could have come down with some balls there. He did take a step forward. The Ashford package They went to it a little bit more frequently. It worked, and for Auburn, I think it's just finding ways to kind of continue to find progress with their passing game. They know they're going to be a running team. They know they're not going to light it up through the air. I do think a big difference in this game, not only does Georgia have Bright Bowers, who I would say is the best player in college football, their two transfer receivers, Ladd McConkey's just been a really good player. He's killed Auburn throughout his career. But their two transfer receivers Georgia had were two of the best receivers in the SEC last year, in Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett. Auburn's transfer receivers are guys who were coming from Group of Five and FCS trying to make a step up, and you could just kind of see the difference there in a big game like that. So there's going to be a ceiling. There was always going to be a ceiling to how good this passing game was going to be. I think they can get better. But the fact that they are able to move the ball on the ground, and they've showed some progress through the air from that A&M game to that Georgia game, even though it wasn't a ton of yardage, obviously. It did look a little better. And, like you said, you're about to play two defenses coming up, that have given up a lot of points and I think in a lot of yards. So it could be a get-right opportunity for sure. And Auburn should be able to learn a lot this off week.
I would still be concerned that Peyton Thorne, especially when you add back in the sacks, the sack yardage, Peyton Thorne is the leading rusher on this team. You talked about the rushing game. And I would be concerned that Jarquez Hunter, I don't know what's going on. I mean, he's only averaging 4 yards a carry on his 50 attempts, 202 yards rushing on the season. And I think that's the one that's a head-scratcher for everybody. I mean, Brian Battie has looked better coming out of the backfield and averaging more yards per carry and getting a lot less carries than Hunter. But Peyton Thorne is the leading rusher on his team. I don't know that anyone expected that, nor anyone really wants to have Thorne be the leading rusher on the team.
Yeah, they're still running the ball as a team pretty well, and I would just go back to the fact that Hugh Freeze this is his thing. Like he rotates his running backs a ton. He spreads it out. He doesn't usually have a bell cow type of running back. It's mostly by committee. I think Hunter's been a little rusty. This season just hadn't gotten to that full gear. And again, like one of the things about Jarquez Hunter, he put up really big numbers his first two seasons. He's playing behind Tank Bigsby. He was the change of pace back. Now it's kind of the things that kind of shifted. A lot of defenses are keyed in on Hunter, wanting to slow him down, whereas now Brian Battie's a change of pace guy. So I think you're seeing a little bit of that. But yeah, maybe kind of get some more confidence in Hunter coming off this off week would be good. But yeah, I do think I think statistically Auburn's running game is one of the better ones in the SEC this year. It's just spread out with a lot of pieces. But if they can really kind of get those running backs truly going these next few weeks, they'll be in a much better position.
Justin Ferguson with us, Auburn Observer, talking a little Auburn Tiger football here as they hit the bye at 3-2. So 3 games to get bowl eligible. They're right where I thought they would be at this point. I projected them at 6-6 on the season. It's look, they're going to be an underdog at LSU. That would be a huge win. You got to be an LSU lean on that one. And but on the other hand, it feels like the game at Vanderbilt, the game at New Mexico State, those should be pretty much locked. So that gets you to 5. And the game at Arkansas will be tough. The Iron Bowl is going to be tough. So it's right where I thought it was over the summer. Somehow split those 2 games with the Mississippi schools. Both are at home. Yeah. Who knows? You can maybe – I think they'll be favored in the state game, and they'll be an underdog in the Ole Miss game. But, man, that Ole Miss game is going to be incredibly emotionally charged, you would think, with the whole dalliance with Lane Kiffin by Ole Miss and the fact that it's the first time Hugh Freeze looks across the field at the Rebels. I mean, there's a lot in play there, although I guess he did play him. He played him from Liberty. Didn't they Liberty play him as well? Maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, it just seems like the emotions are going to be high again the next time they play at Jordan-Hare, on October 21st.
Absolutely. And I thought that was going to be kind of the pivotal game of the year. Auburn was going to be an underdog in 3 straight games to A&M, Georgia, and LSU. I had said from the beginning, if you get one of them, you feel good. Auburn, could still get one of them, but show progress and then take advantage of your home games. Playing State, playing Vanderbilt. Arkansas looks more gettable than it, did probably earlier in the season. Still got New Mexico State. That's the thing about this team. This is year one. I mean, this is a team that's had back-to-back losing seasons. They just need to get back to a bowl game and show some progress. And all those recruits that were there on Saturday and this class that they're building, they got to bring those guys in and say, hey, if we're going to consistently compete with these great teams in the SEC, we need you guys, and we need to start stacking some of these recruiting classes. So you've got an opportunity to continue to get better as the season goes on. The second half of the schedule is a lot more favorable to you than the first half of it was, or at least this little middle stretch. So for Auburn, I think, yeah, you're still where you would kind of expect them to be. Obviously, the passing game is not what you want, but I think the defense has exceeded expectations. I think the running game has played fairly well. I think special teams was pretty big in that game against Georgia. They've played well so far this year. And it's just a matter of like survival. Can you weather the storm and see if you can pick up something in the back half? And then, by the time you play Alabama at home at the end of the year, do you feel like you've got some confidence in you and see if you can, unload it one more time and try to pull off an upset? Like this is, they've still got a lot of stuff in front of them. Obviously losing a close one to Georgia hurts. Looking as bad as they did on offense against A&M hurts. But, this is, like you said, this is kind of right where people expected Auburn to be in these next few weeks. It would be very pivotal to see what kind of season this is going to end up being.
Be interesting to see, too, how the lines come out. Because Auburn, the look-ahead line for Auburn at LSU was Auburn would be getting 2 touchdowns in that game, 14 and a half. I don't think it's going to be that much.
No.
I do think they'll get 10 and a half, something like that. But the Auburn-Ole Miss game was basically a pick 'em for the most part. So it'll be interesting to see when they get to those games whether or not those kind of numbers hold up. But it does feel like it'll come down to those 2 games with Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And, if things go the way they should go the rest of the way. But I would think that everyone associated with the program has got to be feeling pretty much like this is what they expected to see. Maybe a little bit more passing, a little bit more passing success, with Peyton Thorne coming in as a transfer. But otherwise, by and large, pretty much what they expected.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you still got a lot to play for in front of you. This season was always going to be about building a bridge to the future. You can still do that. You should still, get better as the season goes on. And I think you go back to that Georgia game. They looked pretty bad on offense with everything against Texas A&M. They looked better against Georgia. They still need to throw the ball a lot better, obviously, but they did look better. The defense has been, playing higher than expectations were at the beginning of the year. So they're heading in the right direction. Obviously it's all about wins and losses, but in a year one, this is a reset year. This is a build for, move forward. As long as Auburn can get back to a bowl game and get a good recruiting class in, I think that would be a successful year one. They've still got all that in front of them.
All right, before I let you go, since it is the bye week, it is not a bad time to kind of peek ahead and look at what basketball looks like, and it won't be long before everybody's back at it. Any thoughts on the way things are shaping up for this 23-24 basketball team?
Yeah, this Auburn basketball team, last season grinded out the year with an offense that was pretty limited, slowed down, played a lot more half-court game, and got to the tournament, got a win in the tournament. You like that. It's a solid season. This offseason, Auburn really upgraded their offense. They bring in Aiden Holloway, a 5-star McDonald's All-American point guard who's one of the best shooters in the country coming out of high school. He's going to go in with Trey Donaldson. They get Denver Jones from the Huntsville area. He's a transfer from FIU. Only a handful of guys scored 20 points a game last year in college. He was one of them. Great shooter, great scorer. He's going to be an upgrade in the backcourt for sure. You still got KD Johnson on the wing. Chad Baker-Mazzara, 6'8" wing that they brought in from junior college. He's got some D1 experience. Great shooter. He's been a dead-eye his whole career from three-point land. That's an upgrade there on the offensive side. Chaney Johnson, another Huntsville kid, UAH. He has been, I would say, in the first week of practice, he's been kind of the guy who's turned the most heads so far. He's played really, really well. Very athletic, could be a really big player. Then you bring back Jalen Williams and Janai Broome, very experienced front court. So this team, I have questions about how they're going to defend, losing Zep Jasper, losing Alan Flanagan, losing some of those pieces. But they should be better on offense. They should be able to play a lot more kind of spread it out, run and gun style that we've seen Bruce Pearl use in the past. I'm not going to sit here and say I think this team's an SEC title contender off the bat, but I do think they have a good chance to be better than they were last year. And if they're that, could be playing some good ball by March. That's the ultimate goal. So a lot of new faces on this team, but I do think they have the potential to be a much better shooting team, much better offensive team. They can tighten up the defense, which that's kind of Bruce Pearl's specialty over the years. getting a good defensive team in, I do think they have the potential to be, maybe a top 4, top 5 team in the SEC, and that would put you in great position for the postseason.
It seems like that's what Pearl likes most about Chaney Johnson is that he's looked good at the defensive end of the floor in his first week. Yeah,
absolutely. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's got a good jumper to him as well. But yeah, he really, and Pearl. We talked to him yesterday. Pearl was raving about how the coaching he got at UAH, from John Shulman, got him ready to play defense at a high level. Like he just has instincts and work ethic on the defensive end of the floor that not every guy who's trying to make a step up from D2 to D1 would have. So I will say, I don't know if he's going to say he's in a really good competition right now with Jalen Williams. He might not start this season, but I think he's going to play a big role. And Chaney Johnson is definitely a guy that Auburn fans should get familiar with.
Always a pleasure. Justin Ferguson has been our guest. Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, as always. Justin, I appreciate you. Good stuff. Check out the Auburn Observer. A lot of basketball content with the basketball team now in practice.
Yep.
So you're going to want to check that out as well as all the football stuff during the bye week. Ferg, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Tom.
All right, thank you. That's Justin Ferguson. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, we have enough time to get phone lines open. Maybe. You might want to slide in. You can jump in at 256-576-4977 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GeneracSuperstore.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Tuesday, expect plenty of sunshine, another warm afternoon. High temperatures are expected to top out in the upper 80s, and it looks like we'll also be staying dry. Heading into your Tuesday night, we'll sit under a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling into the low 60s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Listen to the Bama Recap Show each Sunday morning at 11, presented by Freedom Marine Center on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Service Department at Woody Anderson Ford. They can get your service work done at Woody Anderson Ford. They're not only experts in the service of Fords and other makes. They use the genuine Ford and Motorcraft parts on every Ford service job. They do tire rotations and wheel alignments and brake jobs and oil changes, engine tune-ups, tranny work. The Service Department and the Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center are there for you, for your Ford or other make. Don't forget certified gold pre-owned vehicles as well, plus the wonderful new inventory at Woody Anderson Ford. You'll find them at the corner of Sparkman and Jordan Lane. Everybody knows where Woody Anderson Ford is. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com, though, to learn more about their inventory or to get an appointment. It's the only place I've gone to in the Tennessee Valley since 2004. Bobby White and his crew at Woody Anderson Ford doing such a tremendous job. So, yeah, Grizz, it was back in 2021 where Liberty and Hugh Freeze played at Ole Miss. Yep. Ole Miss, I remember Liberty was very sporty in that game. Ole Miss ended up pulling away and beating them by a score of 27-14. And so they did, right when I said it, I thought, wait a minute, I think they have played before, haven't they?
Yeah. I looked it up immediately when you were doing it. I was over here trying to get some stuff done and clipping basically everything Justin was trying to say when he was breaking it down. So. Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just like, I agreed with you. I was either last year or the year before, but 21.
Yeah, 21 is when they played a couple of years ago. All right, when we return, Dimitri Rabinos from Barrett Sports Media has got an interesting take on Nick Saban and how much longer before he heads to the table college football's game day show on ESPN. We'll get his take on that. And then we'll open up the lines. We got our lists, our top 10 list for you. Much more to get into in hour number 2 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Patriots will be without their biggest contributor on defense for the foreseeable future. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports pass rusher Matthew Judon will undergo surgery on his torn biceps tomorrow, is out indefinitely, hopes to try to come back to play again this year, but there are questions about whether he can or will. In addition to Judon, New England's also without starting cornerback Christian Gonzalez indefinitely due to a right shoulder injury. Seahawks safety Jamal Adams left last night's win with a concussion, cutting short his return from a torn quad tendon. He is, though, expected to play when Seattle returns to the field October 15th against the Bengals. The march to the World Series kicks off today with 4 wildcard series games. Starts off with the Rays and Rangers, 2:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 3 Eastern on ABC. A reminder, you can hear every pitch of every postseason game on ESPN Radio.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance, to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit northalabamamortgage.com for more information.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go higher and go Army.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find him online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Tuesday, expect plenty of sunshine, another warm afternoon. High temperatures are expected to top out in the upper 80s, and it looks like we'll also be staying dry. Heading into your Tuesday night, we'll sit under a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling into the low 60s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show here on a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. We got your list coming up in a little bit. This segment of the show is brought to you by Alumni Hall for all your Alabama and Auburn gear. It's Alumni Hall at Bridge Street, from gifts to tailgating items to the coolest clothing. Alumni Hall next to the Kona Grill across from Connor Steakhouse is where you'll find them. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall. Don't be rocking a party this weekend for, the Alabama-Texas A&M game without looking the part. All right, and absolutely, if you're heading out to College Station, you need to look right. You got to come correct, okay, with your gear at Alumni Hall. You know who has some Alabama gear? I bet is Dimitri Ravenos. He joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He is an Alabama grad and an Alabama fan, and he is also, for those of you watching the show on YouTube or on the X feed, you can see him there as well. Dimitri, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. Here for the people watching the video, I'll even put on some of my my Bama gear, so you know my bona fides.
I can't look. It's over here on the YouTube. It's feeding in here in the studio, but it's like it would be like a bad Godzilla movie if I'm watching you, because like the delay, has your mouth is moving, but I'm hearing something different in my ear than I'm seeing you say.
Listen, those Godzilla movies are fine pieces of Japanese cinema, Tom.
That is old school, man. That hat there. I mean, that one's been around for a minute. You were wearing that in grade school.
I have this hat has been to more countries than my children have.
All right, so I kind of teased this a little bit yesterday, and I actually did my commentary today along these lines, because we have been saying, well, when Nick Saban got there, remember what the mantra was then? 3 or 4 years, this guy's a hired gun. We'll see how, get it pointed in the right direction. Then after they win a national championship in the third year, we're like, well, maybe 6 or 8 years. And then all of a sudden, he's in his mid-60s. I don't know if he's going anywhere. He might be here for 10 years, and maybe he'll retire when Bear did at age 69. And now he's going to be 72 this year. And it's really kind of amazing that it's been this long a run. We have been saying now for the last 3 or 4 years that maybe another 3 or 4 years. I don't know that we can say another 3 or 4 years, right? It's coming. We have to come to grips with the fact that this has to end, and it might end sooner than later.
Yeah, I believe it's going to end after this season, and I don't think it is because he can't do the job anymore. Like, he certainly can, even if you are really disappointed by this year's team. Like, remember, There are 133 FBS teams, 100 and let's say 27 of them would prefer to be Alabama versus what they are right now. I just think that Nick is a guy that is very conscious of the way that people like, say, Bobby Bowden went out believing he could get one more. And by the time that he was finally done, Bobby was 6-6 and being celebrated in the Gator Bowl. I don't think Nick wants that. I think there is a reason that you are seeing him make time weekly for a guy like Pat McAfee this season. I believe in my heart of hearts, this is the last year Nick will be on the sidelines, and next year he will be part of the College Game Day crew.
Could the McAfee thing, Tom Luginbill, earlier in the week, I brought this up to him, and he said he thinks it's a recruiting tool. He looks at it as, being able to touch in, get that. But I like your thought process as well, that, maybe he's building some rapport. People are seeing a different side of him. We hear him kind of joking around. And even in his press conferences, there were 3 questions he was asked on Monday that would have resulted in an eruption this past Monday, and he deflected them with grace. I mean, it's just weird.
Yeah, I think that if McAfee were solely about recruiting, you can do that with 1 or 2 appearances. You don't have to do a weekly thing with McAfee for that. And look, I don't even know if Nick necessarily is the one that wants to be doing the weekly thing with McAfee. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's part of, and this is a theory I put forth in the column I wrote. Maybe that's part of a deal with ESPN. Like, if you're going to be a part of this show next year, let's pave that runway this year with weekly appearances with Pat McAfee. Because think about it. If, let's say Nick is coming on to Game Day, and even if you don't believe me, just go with me here for a second. Let's say Nick is coming on to Game Day next year. Well, Nick's not going to do what Lee Corso did, and McAfee is not going to bring the coaching perspective that Lee Corso did, but together, the two of them make up for that void, and I think can work really well together, filling that void. To me, it just between the way he came back from Italy, seeming like a guy that realized there's this whole other life he could have if he would just embrace it. This just feels like a different season. It has nothing to do with the product on the field. It has everything to do with watching this guy and paying attention to what the signs are.
So you're saying McAfee in the role of clown,
exactly,
and Saban in the role of X's and O's guy. But, I've had some people at the 4-letter tell me he's not good, on college football and on the set. He's great. I mean, they think he's like ready and can step right into it. And, I always get a kick out of watching that deal he does with Chris Stewart when they break down a play of the game type thing. And I love his nomenclature and the way he puts it. And he reminds me of Tiger Woods talking about golf. When Tiger would use certain phraseology that's just kind of cool. And Saban at 72, you listen to his phraseology when he's talking about, snugging up the back and doing different things like that. He makes it sound relatable, coachy, and cool all at the same time. He'll be a superstar at it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, there are dudes you go see in concert that, like, you're just done with them doing their stage banter because they are explaining music in a way that, like, as not a musician, just doesn't matter to you, right? Saban, I think if you go and you look at that segment you are talking about after the Ole Miss game, not only is he really good at explaining why plays work the way they do and how they come together on the field the way they do, he also, in that moment, has a really good sense of humor about taking over on the 1 and then having to kick a field goal from the 23, how terrible that is. And on top of that, like, you can see he really enjoys the teaching side of this, which is why he has been such a successful head coach with multiple generations of players. I have heard from people at ESPN as well that this guy is not just good, he is great on TV. And I've also heard from people at ESPN, and I couldn't get anyone to go on the record, like, there certainly is this attitude of Big Noon Kickoff is not at game day levels yet, but it gets a little bit closer every single year, right? And one of the things that Big Noon Kickoff on Fox wants you to know is they have more accolades, national championships, Heisman's, etc., and they've done it more recently than the entire game day panel has. Well, Nick Saban outdoes all of that by himself. Like, I think there is real value to ESPN and the way ESPN is built now, where they would rather overpay superstars than pay a whole lot of people to do a bunch of jobs that don't make a difference. I don't know that Nick Saban would be giving up a lot of money to leave the sidelines for ESPN next year.
And and Urban Meyer just doesn't do it for me. You know, I mean, as a coach, obviously he was outstanding, but I'm not entertained in any way, shape, or form. You know, when I watch Urban Meyer, I thought that Spurrier might slide into that game day role. Although I just don't think he had the stomach for it. I don't think he really cared to do it. You know, they had him on a couple of times, and then that was it. So I think that was a big part of it with Spurrier. But I thought he would be the next maybe coaching superstar on the airwaves. But it was clear that he really didn't want to do that.
I thought the same thing about Les Miles after he got fired at LSU, and I don't know if you remember the tryout he got on Fox.
He's in the witness protection program now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so this was even before that. I don't know if you remember the tryout he got on Fox before he became the head coach of Kansas. He was bad.
Yeah,
I mean, like
bad.
to the level of this is not the dude that we've been watching in the SEC for years and years. I think Saban is a different level of good. I kind of go the opposite way that you do on Meyer. I think he's really good at explaining the game. I just think like every time I see him now, all I can think of is this is undeniably the worst head coach in the history of the NFL. Why am I listening to a damn thing he has to say about football?
Well, not for nothing. Lee Corso and Dick Vitale, for that matter, were meat and potato coaches. They were not, like,
for sure.
You know what I mean? So the disconnect from being a great coach. Saban would be the greatest coach ever to go on and do TV. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, of course, he's probably the best coach ever anyway. So, but I mean, typically, it's just like players. Great players don't become great coaches typically. You know, usually it's a coach that had a career like Lee Corso that ends up on TV, you know, and he didn't have a great career. So Dimitri Rabinos with us. I have to say that because, you know, Dimitri, a longtime PD and talent coach type guy, and Dimitri in our staff meeting this morning, our weekly staff meeting, I reminded the guys that you got to reset your guests every couple of questions. Honest to goodness, I think Dan Patrick is the best in the business, and I listened to Dan Patrick for 12 minutes today talking to Ross Tucker and I never heard him mention a name. And I went 12 minutes. I'm like, who in the heck is he talking to? And that was Dan Patrick. So I think all of us in the business have to remember to reset every couple of questions.
I will tell you one the other day that I heard one of my clients do that I was like, what? You guys know better than this. We talk about this all the time. Don't even introduce the guest by their full name. Just introduce them by the nickname a handful of your audience knows them by. That is like the greatest pet peeve of all to me.
Yeah, no, that would be absolutely ridiculous. All right. So you think it could happen. Now, Feinbaum came on the show earlier this year, and he said that if they won the national championship, now this was before, you know, they've slipped into this horrific season where they might even lose 2 games. I don't know. It could be like last year. But Feinbaum said that if they won the national championship, he was certain that Nick Saban would walk away. You know, there's still a player in this thing. I mean, people like to talk about them like they're 2 and 3 or something on the season. They still are in the mix until they get beat again, probably. But you know, that would have been a game changer, right? If they were to go on and win a national championship and he gets 8, he's got to go. I mean, there's no reason. That's a perfect point to exit, I would think.
Oh, for sure. I tweeted yesterday that now that a trip to the CFP is not as ridiculous, maybe not more likely, but not as ridiculous to think about, it seems like I'm a little more sold than ever that this is going to happen. I think the other thing, Tom, to think about here is like, I think that Nick would certainly love to go out with either a national championship or a trip to the playoff. But the thing we can't dismiss is maybe Terry's the one who's ready for Nick to be done. Yeah. And I think Nick has been pretty clear that he would take that seriously if she ever said that. I'm sure Nick was as good of a husband and father as somebody with those kind of demands on their time can possibly be. Well, he's got grandkids now. I mean, maybe there is a reason to think he or Terry does not want the same kind of relationship for him with the grandkids that he had with the kids, where he's gone so often. You know, even look, my wife is a doctor in a hospital, right? 18-hour work days are not uncommon in our house. And having a 12 and a 14-year-old kid, I can tell you there are times you get frustrated with your partner not being there. What I've experienced is a microcosm of what Terry Saban and other coaches' wives go through. I could totally see this not being just Nick's decision here.
Well, and going back to where I started when I said that, you know, when Saban first got there, you thought maybe 3 or 4 years, and then it started extending. don't think that Terry Saban didn't have a lot to do with that either, because he may have gotten that itch. That itch might have been coming when, some of these jobs, Ohio State and Michigan, one of these Big Ten jobs that were opening up, even though he's from the back hills of West Virginia, you think of him as a Big Ten guy, Toledo, Kent State.
Listen, the back hills of West Virginia are much closer to Ohio than they are to Tuscaloosa.
Got that right. I thought at one point he might be the coach at Notre Dame, before Brian Kelly even. But having said that, I got a feeling that she fell in love with Tuscaloosa before he did, and ultimately he did. But I think she had a lot to do with him staying there. So, yeah, she might have a lot to do with when he exits stage right.
Yeah, for sure. Look, this is just what we know, right? What is public record? He was interested in Texas's overtures. He was interested when the Giants eventually, when they fired Tom Coughlin. I can't remember the name of the coach there, Bob McAdoo, when they hired McAdoo.
Yeah.
But that was a non-starter for his family. So, who's to say that the same thing wouldn't be true about when it's time to be done with all of this?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I know he was interested in the Browns job a couple of times, too, a place where he coached, obviously, with Bill Belichick and was his boyhood favorite team, coming up. Dimitri Ravenos with us here talking about Nick Saban and the possibility of him making that move. We don't know. We don't know anything, right? We're not speculating on anything that we've scuttlebutt or anything you've heard. This is just a reading of the tea leaves, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, 100%. The only thing I can tell you that I know, and this is just even secondhand, this was not told to me by Nick Saban. A beat writer told me he's very aware of what I brought up earlier. He's very aware of great coaches have held on for too long and end up with the retirement game that is, the Gator Bowl. And look, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. As much as it would be great to be able to drive just 2 hours south to Charlotte for the big celebration of Nick Saban's retirement, I don't want to see him end his career in the Mayo Bowl, man. And I'm sure that's not what he wants either.
Yeah, even Bear Bryant, ended at the Liberty Bowl.
The Liberty Bowl,
in a game against, I think, Illinois, right? 21 to 15 or something like that win in the Liberty Bowl. The other thing is, I think that he's put on a good face about NIL. I think that even worse than NIL for him is this transfer portal. I think he hates the transfer portal, and I don't even think he's a fan of all the expansion of the playoff and the destruction of the conferences. I don't think that's the way he envisioned college football being. He just still felt that the regional conferences were important. Thankfully, the SEC has still stayed, pretty much regional. But having said that, I think that the new college football, the new face of college football, he doesn't need to be a part of it. So I think if he feels like that, then maybe, that's one of the things that'll kind of push him away as well, especially the transfer portal. He hates that. He hates kids quitting.
So I'll tell you one more thing that I think really, and especially this last offseason, we saw probably gets under his skin, maybe even more than the transfer portal. I don't know, because he's had the luxury of being able to be selective with who he takes out of the transfer portal. There is no reason that a guy that has accomplished what Nick Saban has, not just at Alabama, but in college football in general, there's no reason that dude should be getting down to his third choice for an offensive coordinator, right? Because of the TV money now, a school like Washington can match an offer from Alabama with no problem at all. And that's not something like an NIL collective where he can go make a speech and get that thing funded like that, right? There's not a lot you can do as a coach about other schools' finances. So I could just see that being one of those things where it's not disheartening necessarily, but it is a sign of things have changed. And look, over the 17 years he's been in Tuscaloosa, we have seen Nick openly complain about changes in college football, only to then go and adapt and do them better than anybody else. But at 72, if he doesn't have the appetite for that anymore, man, just tip your hat to him and say thank you for the memories, because they've been better than literally anyone else's lifetime.
Yeah, the only thing I thought that would be attractive for assistants to go there and be a coordinator was that as he is advanced in age, you go there with the thought, you have to have it in the back of your mind, you could be the next head coach at Alabama. I mean, if they were if they were to go in and they did really well, and even when Tommy Rees went there, what if they went there, won a national championship, played great offense, they didn't play this stumbling around offense that they're playing now, but played great offense and won a championship, or Saban stayed for 2 or 3 years and they were a thing, you could be the next head coach of the Crimson Tide. But I don't know that people are really looking at that, and I really do believe there could be a moment because nobody wants to be Ray Perkins, right? Nobody wants to be the guy that follows the guy. Ryan Day has done it pretty well, although he hasn't won real big games yet at Ohio State. But for the most part, you don't want to be the guy that follows the guy. So this could be a little bit of a tricky scenario if and when he does decide to exit.
So I was in school at Alabama for 4 coaches in 4 years, right? Like everything that Nick Saban has done is owed to me at this point as someone that gave them my hard-earned money during that time. I will say, being in school during that time, seeing what the Alabama booster base is, and for younger people listening to this, man, get ready. It's going to get real stupid when Nick Saban retires.
Yeah.
I think that there is a reason you go out and hire a Greg Byrne. You go out and hire somebody that is not turning to Paul Bryant Jr. and saying, well, gosh, boss, what should we do with the coaching hire?
Right.
I mean, I can tell you, and I believe this, I've had people in Alabama, people up here in North Carolina where I live, tell me I'm nuts. I will tell you, I think a dude like Dion with Alabama's resources would be unstoppable. Now, if you want my realistic opinion of who the next coach could be, I think there is a happy medium of Greg Byrne just showing his power in the industry and Alabama wanting some connection. Dan Lanning at Oregon was a graduate assistant in Alabama. He was Kirby's top assistant at Georgia before he took the Georgia job, before he took the Oregon job.
Yeah.
That one makes a lot of sense to me.
That's the one. The Dion thing, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of flash there, and obviously he's done some really good things out there. But I don't know. The Dan Lanning thing makes a lot of sense to me. But here we are talking about who's going to be the next coach at Alabama, which we've been doing for about 5 years.
Just
now,
reckless speculation
just
on the zone today.
Well, you're the one that started it. You're the one that said he's going to game day next year. Okay.
No, listen, I've got nothing to lose, man. I work for myself.
There you go. All right. Good stuff. Dimitri Ravenos has been our guest. Check him out. Barrett Sports Media is where you will find him. Did I mention your name enough times during this interview to pass your muster in terms of your coaching of talent?
Yeah, I feel really good. I'm happy to recommend you for a job in Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, great. There you go. And that would not be a step up from where I am right now, but that's okay. We love Greenville, South Carolina. All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, Tom. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you. Dimitri, Greenville, South Carolina. What's up with that? I am on in Greenville, South Carolina on the weekends. Bassmaster Radio is on in Greenville, South Carolina. I have a Greenville affiliate.
Norfolk, Virginia. You got Florida. You got all over the place.
We got. Did I tell you what happened? I did tell you what happened about the Canada winner. Did I tell you that yesterday in the air? I told you that story yesterday because I got Canadian affiliate. Cost me $45 to send a guy a hat. You got to be kidding me.
For $45 worth of stuff.
For 40, yeah. I mean, I estimated it as $42 in the box. It was a little more than that because I didn't mark down everything that was in the box. And then my wife's like, well, don't they X-ray the box because it's going, over the border? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, there's more stuff in that box than you listed. I'm like, do you think they really care that there's a neck gaiter in there and that there's a
maybe never know what's in it.
Maybe they do.
Could be hiding stuff.
By the way, speaking of fishing, because we mentioned Bassmaster Radio, let me just say this. They do this thing called the College Classic Bracket with the top 8 college. They take the top 4 teams in college fishing, and then they split the teams up, and then those 8 guys fish. They do a classic bracket fish off to see who's going to go to the Bassmaster Classic. And of all of the schools that are fishing, that have college fishing, it came down to Tucker Smith from Auburn, who has made literally $1.5 million fishing. He's a junior at Auburn, but he has fished a number of tournaments that they're allowed to fish and get paid cash in. And a kid by the name of Easton Fothergill from Montevallo, right? Fothergill, before the national championship, which was at Pickwick Lake about a month ago, he was having these really bad headaches, and he fished through the national championship with these awful headaches. National championship was won by Auburn. He fished with these awful headaches. He then they ended up taking him to a hospital, and they determined that he had some kind of fluid buildup or something on his brain. And he had emergency surgery to release this fluid from his brain, and he was certain that he wasn't going to be able to fish in this thing. Well, turns out they cleared him to fish, just like they cleared Deshaun Watson to play, and he didn't play. This kid was cleared to fish, so it was out at Milford Lake in Kansas, and sure enough, it came down to the Fothergill kid from Montevallo and Tucker Smith from Auburn Tucker Smith led this thing wire to almost wire, and right near the end of the bracket, the head-to-head deal, Fothergill catches like a 2.5-pounder and wins the thing, and he's the feel-good story. He will be on Bassmaster Radio this week. He ends up in the Bassmaster Classic next year, which is a minimum $10,000 if you finish last. Don't feel sorry for Tucker Smith, because this kid is going to be a big-time pro. There's no doubt about it. But it came down to Auburn and Montevallo. I thought that was kind of cool, because there's 80-something schools that have college fishing teams all over the country.
Yeah.
And it comes down to Montevallo versus Auburn, and a Montevallo kid won.
Yeah,
it.
2 schools from the lower Alabama area.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see. I think right when I turned it on, I caught it right when either Fothergill was fishing or his teammate was fishing, because I know right when I turned it on, it was talking about Montevallo right then. And, yeah, I caught a little bit of that, because I think at the same time they had Major League Fishing going on at the same time as the college.
Yeah, but that was like
going on.
taped, recorded thing,
Yeah,
I think. But
I just saw it. It said
that
live
was on
my
CBS,
on my TV
but
or whatever.
no, that wasn't live. But but this deal, the classic bracket, was on FS1.
He caught 10-15 on the opening round,
which is nothing really.
I mean, like, to get into it though, because he passed his teammate to like even get into it, and then to be able to get it, I think it was 9-1 on the second time around.
Right. They did the first day was the seeding day. They all fished individually, and then after they were seeded, they went into a bracket, and they were 8-4.
But I saw that they were having problems though too when they were fishing. They were catching all different types of species too. Like,
yeah, it wasn't so much. It's just that lake has a lot of walleye in it, and it had a lot of white bass in it, and so they had to sort through a lot of stuff. It was mostly a smallmouth deal.
Because I think it was either Fothergill or his teammate was doing topwater stuff, and that was the problem. Was like they were like, that's what happens when you throw topwater.
Yeah, you'll have to get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Now it's playing right here. All right, we'll get a break in here. We'll come back. Open lines the rest of the way. If you want to jump in, you can do it. 256-576-4977. We've got lists. Nick Saban has returned to the top of the highest paid coaches in college football list. We'll give you that. Who are the 9 teams that have a better chance, according to Vegas, of winning the national championship? Is there any value in that? And also some notes from over the weekend in the NFL. If we get all of that in, we'll see. Otherwise, your phone calls as well, 256-576-4977. Text window is wide open as well, 732-982-7469, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Is your AC system or heating unit making those sounds that go bump in the middle of the night? Thomas here from Talon Heating and Air again. Thomas, you guys are just a phone call away from keeping those ghosts and goblins from causing nightmare problems.
That's right. We're offering a $59 special right now to do a heating tune-up. That's getting your air conditioner or your heater ready for the wintertime. We're also doing a free gas safety inspection along with that. So if you have gas in your home, we have Master Gas here on staff. We're certified with the state to take care of all your gas issues. So we're going to throw that in with that $59 tune-up.
And if you can get that tune-up now, it'll be ready to go once the cold temperature set in.
That's right. Yeah, all you have to do is give us a call at 256-503-4490. Visit us at our website, talenthvac.com. We'll be more than happy to get out there and get you tuned up.
One more time with the phone number.
256-503-4490.
Talent Heating and Air. Don't let those heating and cooling units go bump in the night.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Tuesday, expect plenty of sunshine, another warm afternoon. High temperatures are expected to top out in the upper 80s, and it looks like we'll also be staying dry. Heading into your Tuesday night, we'll sit under a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling into the low 60s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, inviting you to start your day with Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Plus, listen daily for the Crimson Tide today. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Look, don't put off that new home purchase. Go ahead and make the deal now. Get the best price you can get, and then when the rates drop, the prices, they're going to go up. So you buy now, you get the best price, and then you refi when the rates drop. I mean, that's how it works. And if you're thinking about home improvements, use the equity in your home now, and then you can refi that later as well. You can use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever and then refi to a lower rate in a shorter term when the rates drop. It's all North Alabama Mortgage. You can go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more about that. NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. So the Phillips sent me a link to did you know that Troy Aikman wrote a children's book at one point? So he wrote a children's book.
I think I've heard of this before, yeah.
In 1995. Yeah. Think about that. What they were doing in 95. They were winning their third Super Bowl. He wrote a children's book called Things Change. In his first book for children, Troy Aikman explains how to use change to your advantage and view temporary setbacks as an opportunity to grow in new and better ways. Okay, go watch A Football Life on Troy Aikman and how he reacted to the change to Barry Switzer, because they win that Super Bowl and then they get worse and worse and worse, and I think they missed the playoffs the last 3 years of Aikman's career there. And he is out of his mind, screaming at everybody, telling everybody, the other coaches, that the coaches need to step up. I'm tired of being a bad guy. Why do I got to be the one to motivate the team? We got a head coach that doesn't care. I mean, he sounded like, I'm just going to say it now. It's probably going to cost me the Aikman interview, but I'm going to say it. He sounded like a crybaby. I mean, he was an absolute crybaby for 3 years, talking about how bad Barry Switzer and the staff was and that he had to be the hard ass on the team, okay? And he writes a children's book, How to Use Change to Your Advantage and View Temporary Setbacks as an Opportunity to Grow in New and Better Ways. Yeah, like quitting.
I could see this. Like, I wish I had like looked around in the sports area or whatever of the library. I bet that was just sitting in there at Grissom or something like that, just sitting in the back.
How old were you in '95?
Wish I could have grabbed that. 95, I was 6. So
there
yeah,
you go. They
probably had it at Challenger. I'm not sure.
They'd be like, "Hey, little Grizz, how to handle change." Because someday you'll be the producer of a show that'll be on from 10 to noon, and then noon to 2, and then it'll be on from 10 to noon, and then it'll be on from noon to 2.
Well, I was like, I remember throughout my childhood, I had In Due Time by the book about Jay Barker, and his trials and tribulations throughout, with his relationship with God, and then also like throughout his college football career.
Yeah.
I had that one throughout like my childhood. I didn't have anything.
Before he tried to run his wife over?
Yeah, that was before. Okay. That was before that happened, yeah.
Allegedly.
That was the book I always had, yeah.
All right. Nick Saban is the highest paid coach in college football, $11.4 million a year. That's Saban's salary right now. His total pay, $11.4 million a year. Number 2, Dabo Swinney. Let's look for value. I'm going to try and find a value coach. All right, Dabo is 2. Kirby Smart is 3. By the way, these guys that I'm mentioning, all over $10 million, are all making more than Mike Tomlin makes as the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kirby Smart is $10.7 million. Ryan Day is $10.2 million. Has he ever won anything, Ryan Day? He doesn't even win the Big Ten championship now. All the other Big Ten guys before him, Ohio State coaches before him, would beat Michigan. Now he can't even beat Michigan. Mel Tucker's making $10 million a year, but that is in jeopardy. Brian Kelly makes $9.975 million a year. Jimbo makes $9.1. Mark Stoops makes $9. Did you think that Mark Stoops was the 8th highest paid coach in all of college football? I didn't.
No, I wouldn't have said 8.
Yeah.
No.
So it's not. Don't feel sorry for Mark Stoops.
I've been like top 15, but like not.
He's
Yeah.
getting paid. Josh Heupel is at 9. Lane Kiffin is at 9. James Franklin is 8.5. Jim Harbaugh at 8.25. Let me tell you something. Right now, I hate to say it, but Jim Harbaugh at 8.25, the 12th highest paid coach in college football, Jim Harbaugh is kind of a value at 8.25. When you think about the guys that are all making 10, a little bit of a value there. Let's see who else we got that's a value. Dan Lanning makes $6.6 million to be the coach at Oregon. He'll make more than that when he gets the Alabama gig.
Already.
Sam Pittman makes 6.3. Shane Beamer makes $6.1 million. Shane Beamer is the 24th highest paid coach in college football. PJ Fleck is at $6 million. He's probably worth a little more than that. Chip Kelly is 27th at $5.9 million. Steve Sarkisian, here's a value. Steve Sarkisian is at $5.6 million.
Yeah.
They may be the best team in college football right now. If they have like a year like they could, if they make the playoff, he'll be a $9 million coach next year.
It was like when Nick Saban was getting first paid that a lot of money or whatever. It was like, are we sure we should be paying this guy a lot of money?
And I remember when he hit 5.
Yeah,
they were like
over $4 million.
$5
it's like,
million a year for Nick Saban, and the president of the university said it's the best money we ever spent in our life. We got 10,000 more students because we're winning football games.
All the money that's come in since then, yeah. Oof.
All right, trying to see if there's any other good deals in here. Let's go to the lines. We go Zach Arnett at Mississippi State makes $3 million a year. They're just like abusing him. $3 million a year to be the head coach at Mississippi State in a league he's coaching against guys making $10 million. All right, LSU Lynch is up. Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you? Why is there always a delay with him? Did you ever notice that? Lynch, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, now we hear you. All right.
Well, see, look here. I'm accustomed. There's always like the beep before you get on.
Yeah.
And everything. So the beep just happened. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Stop blaming me, y'all, because our defense is garbage.
They are bad. They are bad.
They are bad. And look here, we have one of the best offenses. But look here, Is this 2 for Tuesday today? I mean, y'all Yankees are just owning this radio station. I mean, between you giving up, the win, like I said last week, to the Wolverine Dan, and then he's going to call in today, well, I got to change my style. Really? What kind of style you got? Let me tell you this, as bad as LSU is right now, we're still number 4 overall with total offense, okay? And
you got great offense. Nobody is denying the offense of LSU's offense is phenomenal. It's just the defense is horrific. I mean, that just make you throw up in your mouth defense.
I know that.
Yeah.
Tom, I know that. I'm just a fan.
Yeah.
You hear me? I'm just a fan. Yada, 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 and everything. And then, but look here, I got on, I do watch you on the WZNN, okay?
Yeah.
And I've got friends that watch you. So why are we having to do Buckhorn, 2 or 3 times a week? I mean, what's going on, Tom?
What do we do 2 or 3 times? We only have Buckhorn on 12:25. We have the Buckhorn coach on.
But you made a big deal. Hey,
it's nice, isn't it?
He done sent me a
good.
shirt and everything.
This look
so
good.
do we need to send you shirts and gift certificates to? I mean, what's going on?
That's nice, man. I mean, it's good-looking gear, isn't it? It's Nike here. I'm showing it off. I see. Is your buddy Michael Weeks? Is that your guy right there? He's like, he said Buckhorn. Oh no, that's you saying Buckhorn is only allowed on Thursdays. I'm actually reading a note off of the YouTube feed.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
we get on there. Son, we get on there, and I've told y'all we're trying to help the show.
Yeah.
But look here. I'm going to close with this. It's been a great show. That was a great phone call right there. But I was going to tell you, and my oldest son, Dalton, he's trying out for the Westminster golf team right now.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to see what happens.
Where are they playing?
To him. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I think it's out there. at Hampton Cove.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to him. Let me know how he does.
We'll see.
Okay. Willie Fritz at Tulane, $2.8 million. There's a value. That dude's getting a big job soon. Willie Fritz at Tulane. All right. Before we get to the break, since I got lists I got. How about this one here? All right. I know you're not in the stock market. Hang on a second. Let me see if I'm getting my head kicked in right now again. Still. Oh God, I'm getting my head kicked in. Well, you know what they say, Grizz. You don't lose anything until you sell. So it's going to take a minute now to come back, right? You never lose money until you sell. So don't sell and just hang in here and not lose money. All right, you ready for this? Alabama and Georgia were the favorites to win the national championship. There were plus 300, plus 375. Georgia right now is plus 300. All right, what this means when I say plus 300, that means if you bet a hundy, you make 300, okay? Michigan is plus 400. They're the number 2 favorite. Florida State is plus 650. Ohio State is plus 700. Texas is plus 750. Penn State is plus 1,000. Oregon, with the next coach at Alabama, Dan Lanning, they are plus 1,500. USC is plus 1,600. Washington is plus 1,700. Let me tell you something. Alabama has a better chance of winning a national championship than Washington does. Alabama is plus 2,000. Oklahoma plus 2,500 and Notre Dame plus 4,000. That is your top 12 in terms of favorites to win a national championship. So, Grizz, if you had a $50 bill, right now, would pay you $1,000 if Alabama won the national championship. That is not a horrible, bet.
No,
it's not a horrible bet.
It could get pretty close by the end of the year. Yeah, it'd be a nice little sweaty bet at the end of the year.
I don't think it's a bad bet. All right, we'll come back. More phone calls when we return. Brandon will be up first right after this on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars? 3 end-zone sports bars. And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in a field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Tuesday, expect plenty of sunshine, another warm afternoon. High temperatures are expected to top out in the upper 80s, and it looks like we'll also be staying dry. Heading into your Tuesday night, we'll sit under a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling into the low 60s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The anthem is brought to you by TOC. Use the orthopedic specialist that pretty much every high school in the region uses. That's TOC Sports, Alabama A&M, the Huntsville Havoc rely on TOC as well. Whether it's a sports injury or not, it's TOC. They got locations everywhere now. They keep opening up new locations everywhere throughout the Tennessee Valley because, to be quite honest, they are North Alabama's largest sports medicine provider, and you can stay in a game with TOC Sports. All right, let me get Brandon in here to bring us home. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I keep waiting on Grizz to prank you one day coming back on music and hit you with like Little John and the East Side Boys or something.
They've tried that before, and then I reach over there and smack them in the head when they do that. So
I have played some Outcast for Steve when he least expected it.
Yeah.
That's always good when you mess somebody up with their music and throw them off.
No, it's really not. To be honest with you, it's not great. You know,
it's really easy when you can chime in through your phone.
Yeah.
So. When you can screw it up though.
When a show has a sound like this show has a southern rock, hardcore southern rock kind of sound to it, you don't want to mess with it because that's the sound of the show. You know, we're not some lightweight rapper over here or something like that. This is hardcore southern rock. This is man radio right here.
Well, we were riding back on the bus from the game yesterday, and they said turn some music on. And my son turns on his phone to XM, and it was a little BTO Let It Ride.
Yeah.
And because he's into some of that, and this big kid named Jalil on the bus looks at Coach Henderson, and he's like, "Coach, did you used to get high listening to this in the '70s?"
Why?
And we just died.
Why are you on the bus with the kids? Are you that father that rides the bus with the kid? Or what? What's up with that?
I was helping with equipment.
Oh, okay. They might have mistaken you for one of the kids. I mean, you're so little. You know, they could have said, "Hey, you know, did they make you put a seatbelt on or anything, or put you in a car seat?" Or
I've been there before.
The little guy.
We're just helping out inventory and making sure everything's there. We got a championship game Thursday, so they lose more equipment than anything I've ever seen. Shoulder kids take stuff home, never get it back. We've got all new helmets this year, trying to keep all that. Which, you know, we got NIL now, which is going to be a total crap show.
Yeah, it is.
I'm interested to see how that's going to go. You have to declare it with your principal within 10 days of doing it. So you got to go to school.
Why do you got to tell them? I mean, you know, it's either the Wild Wild West or what. I mean, what's the point of telling the principal? You know,
you
at
have
that
to
point,
notify the schools where you're at to make sure that it's not not against anything that they would consider bad. So you can't do tobacco, alcohol. You can't do any.
Give them the rules. Same as you do. If you break the rule, then you're going to get clipped. You know.
Well, I think they don't trust them. That's why. I think that's why they're doing that. And it's gonna be interesting to see how this thing plays out because now, like my buddy is the head coach at Darlington High School. He's my neighbor 2 doors down the street. We went to school together. They have pushed 1A through 3A private to where they all have to compete against each other for one state championship now here in Georgia.
As they should.
They don't let it. Well, I think 1 and 2, 3 and 4 would be okay, but 1A versus 3A, there's a pretty good jump there. And at this point,
if they're all privates, there's not. As long as they're all privates, I think it's okay.
Well, that to me, if you're going to do that, and then this NIL thing has come in, then I don't want to hear any complaining when you see these kids jumping all over the place, because with these privates, there's no more living out of district. There's no more none of that now.
Yeah.
So
there's going to be a lot of families. There are going to be a lot of families of good players moving to Georgia or moving to Tennessee or wherever it is that they got it, which is crap. I mean, that's what's going to end up happening. You know, you got a good kid that's a basketball player. Look, Caleb Holt is a great, great player at Buckhorn. He's the best player in the state probably. What if his family decided to move to Georgia so that he can get paid? You know? Don't like it. Don't like
it. It's coming.
Yeah. All right, man. It's a good job by you. Appreciate you. All right, that's it for today. Coming up, it's the Paul Feinbaum Show, followed by Steve and Wes. Where are they today? Today's Taco Tuesday down there. It's Pedro's birthday, isn't it, down there? I think at the Furniture Factory?
The Furniture Factory, yes,
Pedro's
sir.
birthday down there?
Every Tuesday.
Grab those fish tacos. They're really good.
They got karaoke after, too.
Karaoke?
Yeah. I think there's karaoke after.
Do Steve and Wes do a karaoke duet together?
I would like to see that.
What would be the song that Steve and Wes would do in a karaoke duet? I don't know. All right, have a great day, everybody. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they